Welcome to Communication 360. I'm Philip Mulford.
And I'm Lisa Mulford. Today we're going to talk about self-esteem. And we have a guest joining us who says there's a myth about self-esteem, that it doesn't really exist.
That self-esteem doesn't exist.
That's right. That it's something that we are all buying into, that it's the mumbo-jumbo of this generation.
How can it not exist? I mean, everybody is always saying that so-and-so has low self-esteem, and if they just had more self-esteem, that they would be more successful.
I know, exactly. Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Self-Esteem. What would you rate your self-esteem? Are you high, low, in the middle? Is it depending on the day?
I don't know that anybody's ever, I don't know that anybody's ever rated me as having low self-esteem, but I know that there are times when things hit me in a way that just kind of surprises me, how they overwhelm me in their significance when they just shouldn't be that way. Somebody accuses me of being unprofessional, even if they have no basis for saying it, really hurts me and hits me in a way that's kind of like, why do I respond to that emotionally?
I mean, what do you do?
Why don't I have such good self-esteem about myself that I just say, they're crazy, they don't know what they're talking about?
Well, when somebody does that to you, do you buy into it and then you say, oh my gosh, I should have done that differently, I've got to change, I'm a bad person?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I don't even have to go through that logic. I just feel bad. Or when a client says, you know what, I wish you would do it this way, and I'm kind of like, I feel bad that I'm not really, even though I know that they don't really understand what I'm doing is different than what they're used to, it still is a challenge to try to help them understand and explain to them, and I feel like I'm kind of responsible for them to feel like everything they're getting from the standpoint of what they're expecting is exactly what they want.
So how do you
but there's no way to do that.
How do you get yourself out of it? What do you do? Do you carry it around all day long, or do you just kind of feel bad for a moment, or is it an ongoing feeling?
Just depends on what it is. I've had experiences where it's been, ongoing for much too long, and others times you just say, that one's easy enough to say, consider the source.
Okay.
So to answer your question, how about you?
Well, I have self-esteem issues in different parts of my life. One of the things that I do, and I do it all the time, which I'm trying hard not to, is I compare myself to others. I compare myself to the way people dress, the way they look. If we go to somebody's home, I compare their home to our home. It's funny, we just did a show last week about inviting people into our home and having more people over. And one of the things I struggle with is we go to people's houses that are beautifully decorated, and it's just their house is perfect, lawn, everything. Well, our house isn't finished yet. We have a half barn, half house, and I feel very uncomfortable that my house isn't good enough. So I'm always comparing myself. Or if somebody's more successful than I am, or somebody's more confident than I am, sometimes that gets under my skin.
So how does it affect you? When you say it gets under your skin, do you feel bad about yourself?
I think a lot about it,
does it get you down?
Yeah, sometimes it does. Sometimes I feel very, inadequate, and I try and figure out how I can change. Or, I got to be honest, there's some situations I will avoid because I know that it's going to make me feel bad. In other words, I know that I can't match whatever it is that's going on, whether it be what you wear or how to behave, or, so there are a lot of things I protect myself.
Obviously, there is an issue of self-esteem because you're talking about it, I'm talking about it, I'm feeling it. I can remember saying to someone that I was talking to about myself, and it wasn't you, it was Larry Murphy. And I said, you know what, I just all of a sudden hit me. It's like, I am so hard on myself.
You are.
And I expect perfection out of myself. And when somebody else tells me that I have not lived up to their expectations, it really hurts.
Yeah.
So is that self-esteem?
I don't know. And that's a good question. What is this that is driving all of us to do the things we do? Part of the thing about me comparing myself to others and not feeling comfortable in my own skin, I don't know if you remember this, but when we first started dating, I wanted you to like me. I wanted you to fall in love with me because I had been in love with you for so long. Yes, I stalked you for 13 years, but that's another show. But I did. Everything you did was okay. I remember.
Well, okay.
Okay.
It was okay.
It was. Yes, it was okay. Like we'd go to Saturdays.
It was absolutely perfect.
It was.
Okay, let's get clear here.
No, don't even. That's another.
It has to be for me to feel good about this.
I know,
okay, I got to
right.
feel good about myself. So everything I did was perfect, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right, but we would go to the movies, and we would go every Saturday, and not just one movie; it would be 2 or 3 movies.
And that was perfect. The choices were perfect. The number was perfect. Okay, I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
It wasn't. It was driving me crazy. I had better things to do with my time, but I didn't want to say no to you. Or you would ask me about what I thought of a movie. If we went to see, I don't know, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and you'd say, well, what did you think of that movie? What did you think of the characters? And I'd be, oh, it was good. Because I was so afraid that if I didn't want to offer you my opinion, that...
Or if you offered me your opinion that wasn't like mine?
Yeah, that you wouldn't like me. And so I did a lot. And the thing about it that time...
So you were just pulling... You were just kind of...
Bait and switch, buddy.
You were
Bait
just
and
feeding
switch.
me a line.
Bait and switch.
Throughout this whole process where I thought I was... But you know what? Guess what? What happened after a while? After a while, all your bullshit became something was... Oops. All of a sudden, it was like, you know what? I don't think I want to continue this relationship because I don't have a clue who you are, and I'm tired of this platitudinal nonsense.
That's what the platitudinal was. The word
platitudinal BS. And it was like, enough's enough. Let's move on. Do you have to behave that way and treat me that way because I don't like it? Is that who you are? You don't even know who you are because you don't even know whether you like or what you like and what you don't.
And you know, the night you broke up with me was such a relief because I tell you, trying to please you and trying to be the person that you wanted me to be and trying to judge my emotions and everything I did based on what you were feeling and what you were doing, it was stressful.
I was sure it would be.
It was awful. So,
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, we've got a long, I mean, we both have struggled with stuff. But
well, so I'm not real clear about this issue of self-esteem, but I'm glad that we're talking about it because it does become the excuse for so many things. I hear it so often. It's like, what? So Terry Diebold is someone who's going to join us in a moment and talk with us about her sense. She's written a book called The Myth of Self-Esteem.
The Myth of Self-Esteem, 50 Ways to Stop Sabotaging Yourself. Terry is also a licensed marriage and family therapist and an ordained Presbyterian minister. And in her private practice, she works primarily with individuals struggling with self-esteem. Sounds like maybe we should pay her a visit.
Absolutely.
And couples with issues in their relationships. Terry, welcome to Communication 360.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to this talk.
Likewise.
Well, we are too. So, you know, Terry, you heard our opening. You heard us talk about our issues. If I walked into your office today, how much therapy would I need?
Well, let me tell you, I'm very impressed with your honesty about what you were feeling. That's a huge part of the self-esteem issue is being really honest about what you're feeling instead of being ashamed of it, at least talking about it.
Well, you know, talking about it is hard, and a lot of times it's hard to figure out what's driving it all. I mean, you can say, that person told me I dressed incorrectly, so I feel bad. But that's not really what's going on, is it?
No, and what I heard from you, Lisa, was so much of what so many women go through until they get grounded in themselves and they know who they are, is this whole need to please. And that does come from this self-esteem myth that there is something wrong with you, that you're not doing things right, that other people are better, that you don't compare, that your opinion isn't as important as other opinions, and so when we have those feelings, we think there's something wrong with us when there's not a thing wrong with us. That's human nature.